Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We got ourselves some flavor for you tonight. So, what have we got? European banks currently being fined 1.1 billion on tax fraud and, of course, money laundering activities. What's going on there? We'll be diving into that very shortly. We're also going to be talking about Nancy Pelosi's latest buy. Why on earth is she invested in this company? We'll be having a look at that also. But more importantly, we'll be diving into Bitcoin's price action towards the end of the video. So make sure you stick around, like the video, so we can work with that algorithm. Let's have a conversation, ladies and gentlemen. So we get the party started off with banks in France facing $1.1 billion in fines due to tax fraud and money laundering operations. It was declared this morning that 5 main banks were being called up, and now they've issued the fines. We've got a couple of household names in there like HSBC and BNP. So what exactly happened? Well, listen. You guys are probably familiar with a lot of trading strategies out there. You've got Fibonacci, you've got Bollinger Bands, moving averages, the hybrid system, the vector candle strategy. Let me introduce to you this strategy that has been used by banks, which is why they were fined nearly $1 billion, over $1 billion. Scroll down and you can see the raids relate to a dividend arbitrage strategy known as Cum-Cum. Shareholders effectively transfer stock for a period of time to investors based abroad to avoid dividend tax. Okay, sounds legit. Investors held the shares during the period when dividends were paid out and either weren't taxed or taxes were refunded. They then sold the securities back to the original owner and the amount saved was split between the parties. So the Cum-Cum strategy seems to be where it's at right now when it comes to trying to pay out dividends. So if anybody is aware of this kind of strategy, put it in the comments section because I'm going to be straight with you. I ain't ever heard of anything like this before. It's starting to get a bit crazy. More crazier than the fact that we've got clashes in France over Macron's decision to raise the pension scheme. In other words, he's increased it by an extra 2 years, and they are not happy about that. Now, on that principle of what's going on in the US with all Silicon Valley banks, Signature Bank and First Republic, now we've got Credit Suisse and UBS. We've also now got these banks being fined in the Eurozone. What's the UK doing? Well, according to Bailey, financial turmoil will not stand in the way of further rate rises, says Bailey. He's pretty much saying that the UK economy is doing great, even though inflation is at 10.4% and it's still high, which grants to why they're going to keep increasing interest rates. So the interest rate now in the UK is 4.25%. So you go and get a mortgage, that's the base rate that they're going to be applying onto any mortgage products that you take on. That's expensive. Let alone today, I went out and spent nearly £7 on a dozen eggs. That is crazy, ladies and gentlemen. 12 eggs for £7 British. That's how bad the inflation has got. Going over to the price action of the pound, you can see it's doing great. This 5-minute time frame, go to the 1-hour time frame, and you can see it's coming up and forming what looks like the top of our structure that we're waiting for them to take. Okay, so by principle of this M formation, we are expecting pound to effectively start to roll over. But if they can break out from this zone, we go into higher time frames, and we can see that pound is working its way towards a previous vector candle region up here with the red wick right there. You might be able to see it in a second. There it is right there. These are red vector candles inside of this zone where we're expecting the pound to come up and eat the liquidity. And then we zoom out a little bit more. There's your vector zones. We go into the daily time frame and you can see it's still got this area right here that it needs to break. A full recovery, if we remove all of this, a full recovery of the red vector candle may be on the cards before they could potentially start selling off inside of this area right here. Now, the 800 EMA on the daily time frame is somewhat close by, but we're going to wait and see if news coming out for the rest of the week, like the unemployment claims on Thursday, could actually change the tone. All right. Inflation, ladies and gentlemen, 10.4% in the UK. That is crazy. The economy is going to start slowing down because it's just going to be too expensive for people to even spend money. But even today, consumer confidence came out for the US showing people are really confident about things. Yet the economy is going to the pits. What's going on? We got more interest rate increases on their way. Now, listen. let's get with the flavor of what's going on in crypto. Binance, of course, are feeling a little bit more pressure, comparing what the story was with FTX to Binance, saying it's going to dwarf it and it's going to dominate the crypto sector, okay? A lot of guys or companies in the US that are offering derivatives for people in the US are going to be on the radar for the SEC and the CTFC as well. Okay, so all I'm suggesting is keep an eye out on what's going on in relation to this case with CZ, because if it goes favorably for crypto, happy days. But if it isn't, it's not going to be a good sight for crypto, which will lead me over to Bitcoin very shortly. But I want to just talk to you about Nancy Pelosi's latest buy. So going over to that, it's Pisces Oncology, which is focused on developing an antibody drug conjugates and immune therapies for treatment of cancer. Man, I can't see nothing with this right now. This eye patch is killing it for me. Arr! I see you guys with your pirate comments. Man, I need my parrot. Anyways, so she's been buying this stock, but she's been selling quite a bit of other stock. She got rid of her PayPal stock. She got rid of her Roblox stock. She, according to sources, she's still holding on to her AMGM stock, which is another company. If we go into AMGM, you can see she bought this stock at $230 a share right here in this zone. And it's doing relatively well given the current climate of what's going on around the world and in the marketplace. Okay, picked up a little $5 on each share. Happy days. She hasn't sold this, but she seems to be invested in medical stocks. So let me go back into this company. So this company, of course, right now is trading 79% up for the day. What a buy right there. Good old Nancy buying this recent IPO back in December. You can see it's done not so well, but now with the interest of Nancy, it's starting to move to the upside. So let's put two and two together. Only recently, the Philadelphia water scandal, not so much a scandal, but there was a leakage or a spill in a water supply in Philadelphia, which homes around 1.6 million people. Now, according to sources, this spillage could lead to potentially cancer. That's what they're saying based on the chemicals that are used or the ones that have spilled in this Philadelphia water zone, okay? And then you've got Nancy Pelosi investing in this company. Look, just put two and two together. It might not even be that. She may genuinely have a vested interest in this company for other reasons, okay? But we know what the story is with these investors, these politicians, ex-politicians, friends of friends. You don't think they just go to Congress and the Senate and they only meet up there. These guys are playing golf. These guys are going places. And you'll always see them having a conversation. Hush, 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 hush. You know, that's what this is all about. Trading on the inside. This is what happens. Why all of a sudden you investing in this company? All right, we know cancer is a problem. I've had it in my family and it's a sad story. But this is what happens, how they make money off it. Okay? This is the story that you've got to be mindful of when you are investing in companies and you have some aspect of ethics behind who you're investing in, then you're probably going to want to stick with mainly tech stocks. At least with tech stocks, you know where you stand with them, like Tesla or maybe other companies like in Surgical Intuitive that are a biomedical company who use AI to effectively conduct operations. So no human interactivity. It's just good old robots sealing up wounds, conducting big key surgeries, all right? Maybe that's that kind of thing you like. But this is the sad truth of the marketplace, ladies and gentlemen. This sort of thing, all right? Now, let's get into some price action. So if you've made it this far, mad love and respect, remember to like the video so we can get working that algorithm and spread the word of the hybrid system. And if you want to learn more about the hybrid system, go check out patreon.com/tradersreality, where you can get insight into the 5-minute strategy that we are talking about right now, but more so improve the chances of trades playing out in your favor, understanding how the market maker operates, which leads me over to today's price action. Earlier on in the New York live stream, we were anticipating that a red vector candle would come inside of this zone, okay? We didn't see it happen straight away because Bitcoin had initially made a move back up before it decided to roll over. Now, I'm going to break it down to help you understand the logic of this situation. Going into Bitcoin's price action, you can see the red vector candle did turn up. Not at the time we expected it, but it came in shortly after. And this was the red vector candle region right here. Now, remember, we wanted to see Bitcoin break down below the VWAP, okay? And then try and find support at around that zone in the high block, in the book map. So we go over to this area here and we go into the video itself and we look at this part of the video. Now, this is where it gets interesting. This was the zone right here where Bitcoin needed to prove that it was going to work the interest at trapping traders short to then, in essence, reverse it back up again. Right? This is what we were looking for. We were looking at Bitcoin trying to come away from an area of value. So if we go over to the actual exo charts part, you can see Bitcoin was flirting with this value area low. And we said that inside of this area here, Bitcoin would need to show, look at this guy's face. Bitcoin would need to show interest at these zones to effectively reverse from, to then give us the idea that it may look to start moving back up, because the value area low and the value area high in the volume profile is where you expect reversals or support to come into play. Now, going into Bitcoin's price action, you can see the red vector candle did appear in this area right here, and the stopping volume candle right there initiated the reversal. They came in and recovered the green vector candle that we marked off inside this zone right here. So we saw those two plays right there. Happy days for the recovery of the green vector. And remember, a rule of thumb says that once they recover a vector candle zone, you are expecting liquidity to come in the opposite direction. In other words, if market maker is trapping traders to go short, he's building longs and he's going to want to capitalize on those longs, which is why you then see the big red vector candle coming in and then instantly reversing back up to the upside. That's the key aspect to it. Now, moving on, what can we expect from Bitcoin now that it's done this great little move to the upside? Now, we can see that it's coming back into the recovery of the red vector candle on the 4-hour time frame. No cigars just yet, guys, because Bitcoin hasn't fully broken away from the 50 EMA. And for my guys that swing trade, you really want to use this cloud right here with the hybrid system to determine if there is going to be interest to move higher towards and away from the 28 zone. Okay, now word on the street is suggesting that Bitcoin needs to test a specific zone before it can go to 30. Well, what is that zone? In my opinion, I believe Bitcoin needs to come back down to the 200 EMA at 25,253 before we can see a nice move to the upside to hit that 30K zone. But we've got about a 3K difference between 30K and, of course, 25K. So we're at the evens of the range. Now, you see Bitcoin's holding out on this 50 EMA, and the unemployment claims on Thursday could be the deciding factor for Bitcoin. Don't really have that much news announcements coming out tomorrow. So let's just make sense of what's going on in terms of liquidity in Bitcoin. Going into the high block, here we go. You can see that we have got roughly around 29,050. We've got $3.8 billion worth of short liquidations in that zone. Could they be attacking that region? Well, firstly, you need to consider the following. Look at how they've been behaving today around the daily open. And of course, on Thursday, I'm going to be doing a masterclass session on this, and it's called the daily open strategy. All right. Now, the daily open strategy is when price hugs the daily open throughout the day, you're going to get volatility. What you want to see is you want to see price moving aggressively away from it to help you understand if the narrative for the day is to stay in shorts or to go in longs. What you're looking for is this. You're looking for price on the daily open right here. That's the daily open of any asset. And you see Bitcoin today has been doing this around the daily open. They made the move lower and then they've quickly come back up above it again. But they haven't really gained much ground in today's price action. It's only been up 1% for the day. Not that much of a big bad boy move. And it's only back into the same zone that it sold from over the last few days. Now, take that information. Going into the smaller time frames, you can see this structure of Bitcoin going up and down in and around the daily open. This is where market maker is in essence trapping traders, okay? Remember, you've got traders that are playing ranges. They've got ranges marked off, drawn out, and they are anticipating that it breaks one zone, they're going to go short from it, or it breaks one zone and they're going to go long from it. That's why you're seeing this happening around the daily open, and a lot of people have some heavy reliance on the daily open because it's a psychological zone. Imagine you get a message from any big broker like Crypto.com, Binance, or Bybit suggesting Bitcoin is up 1% for the day. You feel like you're missing out on something, so you're going to go into your exchange and see if you want to start buying some Bitcoin up. It's a very big psychological area, the daily open. It's so important. So if Bitcoin's going to sustain this move to the upside, today it would need to stay above the daily open for it to start working towards the next vector candle zones, which sit at the 27,733. In other news, we've also got XRP making some mad movement to the upside, hitting one of our projected zones of 0.52. Happy days, but listen, make sure you take some money off the table because we know when they start pumping up, they like to come back down again. So just make sure you've got some profits in the move to the upside. The move, of course, might be sustained on the idea of the court case. I haven't read into any developments on that, but it is an extended move to the upside. So we are expecting some mean reversions. In other words, price to come back down and test the moving average. The only way that we can assume that the move will continue higher is if price can continue to hold inside of this zone and the moving average marries up towards price, and then we have ourselves a flat zone in the chart where we would expect volatility to come in either to the upside or to the downside by understanding how many vector candles appear inside of these zones. Okay, moving on from that, we're going to have a look at Euro. So Euro climbing up. Don't like it when Euro climbs up like this. It looks like a bit of a drift. Volume is disappearing completely in the Euro. So just be very careful going in for longs in Euro and shorts because they might not be finished with this move, because it takes me over to the dominance of the dollar. And you can see dollar itself has come back down and it's still testing a very critical zone, but it hasn't broken down just yet. They've come towards our projected area of the green vector candle zone right here, narrowly missing that 101 zone itself. So just be careful. If the dollar dominance decides to bounce from this area and they finalize this big W formation structure right here, then that's of course going to lead all assets across the board to drop down. So I hope that has served you, ladies and gentlemen. Bitcoin has made a nice little move, so has XRP, so make sure you start taking some profits when you do see volatility coming into the chart. We're going to be tuning in with you all tomorrow again at 2 p.m. GMT, which is 9 a.m. Eastern Time for the New York live stream, so make sure you hit the subscribe button so you get notified about that bad boy, and make sure you like the stream as well and the videos so that we can share and spread the word of the hybrid system. Other than that, guys, I'll be checking in with you all tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Peace.